debate and then questions for the student athletes. Coach, when you're ready, go ahead.
Well, just another great game between VCU and Richmond. Thought the last 8 minutes of regulation, really the last 6 minutes of regulation, overtime, we imposed our will in the paint. You know, we out-rebounded them by 16. We scored 56 points in the paint. That's our formula. I felt really good when it got to overtime with Klein having 4 fouls. We knew there wouldn't be a whole lot of resistance down there, and you know, just made some plays when we needed to. So we were fortunate and made some plays, and we'll take it on to tomorrow.
Questions for Jaquan and Mo, just raise your hand. We'll get you the mic.
Jaquan, the three-pointer that sent it into overtime, what was the play call?
Don't tell him the play call.
I know. Coach drew up a play in the timeout. We actually run it a lot, but we just executed a little different, and I shot it.
Jaquan, did you feel like you needed to get that? 2 questions. Did you feel like you needed to get that shot off quickly? And Samir, I thought, played very well today and sort of held you guys in the game for a while. Could you talk about how he played?
Yeah, I had shooting in my mind before the play even started. I wanted to put that on my shoulders, and my teammates, I feel like my teammates wanted me to as well. And as of Samir, I mean, he's a great player, he's a great scorer. You know, we're going to need that from him. He's able to do that. He's capable of doing that every game if he just comes out, you know, and play his game. He's a great driver, getting to the rim and finishing. He's great at rebounding his own misses. I mean, he's scrappy, you know, and if Samir keep playing like that, we're going to do big things.
Go ahead, front left.
Mo, yesterday against, over here. Yesterday against George Mason, you weren't able to score, but first half today, you had 8 points. Was the game plan going in to get you started early?
Yes.
It's always the game plan.
It's always a game plan. Against Mason, I saw a lot of double teams, so, I mean, I just affected the game in different ways. I had 4 assists. I had a couple of turnovers, but I just try to, like, spray it out when I can. And today, they didn't really double team me, so I knew I had one-on-one on the inside. And once, like, if I typically make my first shot, I know I'm probably feeling it, so I just kept going to the basket every time I got the ball, and I had success today.
Go ahead, Tim.
Mo, y'all look like when Klein was in foul trouble and out of the game, y'all were still having a hard time scoring inside. Looked like it got a little frustrating at times. What changed that allowed y'all to start getting engaged in there? And then 2, as a follow-up question to that would be, you had to guard Jones on the last shot. Talk about that switch a little bit.
Well, for the first question, I mean, we were getting good looks. I got to the front of the rim twice. I just faded away a little bit on it. So, I mean, I just came out real quick. Hamdi came in. He gave us a big boost. He scored, I think, 6 straight and got a big rebound. And then I just came back in and finished it off. And on the last shot, that's a situation we worked on for, like, the past 2 weeks in practice on switching out. Klein set the screen, and I knew I had one-on-one. And I'm very confident in my foot speed and my lateral movement to be able to stay in front of the guards. And I just try to make the shot as difficult as possible, and he couldn't get it over me.
Front left.
Guys, how big was it to have the crowd involved as much as they were? It kind of felt like that we were back in the Siegel Center at a lot of times.
It's big time, you know. We love Ram Nation, and we know they love us too. And when they travel like that, their energy kind of gives us a little more energy when we're tired. You know, we press a lot, and when we feel down and we just look up to them, they're on their feet, you know, they're cheering loud, and we feed off that, and we appreciate it.
All right, for you two, other than Melvin and a couple other former players, this will be your 4th straight appearance in the A-10 championship game. Getting to the championship game over the past 4 years, was this one tougher than previous games, or is it just business as usual?
You mean to get there? Yeah. This game kind of felt like the Richmond game that the year we won it. It was just a similar game, just like this, came down to the wire. So, I mean, it was similar pass, but, I mean, we just try to take it one game at a time. You know, every game's different, so we just try to come out and do what we do, and hopefully we'll end with a good result.
Yeah, I'm with him.
You guys just played at Rhode Island. Rhode Island seems to be playing pretty well right now. What are your thoughts on what the game will be like tomorrow?
I feel like it's going to be fun. It's going to be up and down. It's going to be physical. They have really good guards. We have really good guards. They got good posts. We got good posts. So it should be a fun game.
Mo, anything to add?
It's just gonna be a physical game. They play gritty. We play gritty. They out-toughed us the first time we played them, so we just got to master physicality and keep them off the glass because they got the best of us last time we played them. So I think if we do well on the glass, it should be a good game.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Thank you. Thanks. We'll open up to for questions for Coach Wade.
We got Paul in the back.
Oh, go ahead, Paul.
Samir makes that baseline drive in the N1. You're down 6, and he goes baseline for that. And when you turn, you gestured to the bench. What was the significance of that?
Well, I was gesturing because we have to drive the ball and get it in the paint, and we kept shooting all these mid-range jump shots. We probably shot more mid-range jump shots in the second half today than we've shot in the last month. And we kept shooting all these terrible shots, and if you just drive the ball in the paint, they'll foul you or you'll get a layup. And we scored 56 points in the paint. All you got to do is drive it in there. And so, that was one reason Samir was really successful today. He just put his head down, drove the ball in there. Johnny was really good for us today too because he could get pieces of the paint and drive it in there. So I was just gesturing, explaining however you want to. Get the ball inside, whether it's off the. We talk about feeding the post a lot, but you can drive it in there too. Samir's good driving that thing in there.
In the front.
Coach, you talked about it a little bit earlier today about Klein getting in foul trouble with a little under 6 minutes left. Was that the turning point of the game? Is that where the momentum really shifted?
Well, they're a different team when he's in foul trouble. There's no doubt about it. Their whole offense runs through him. He's a point center. Their whole offense runs through him, and no knock on their other guys, but it's a pretty significant drop-off when you go from the player of the year in the league to some of their other guys. But Coach Mooney did a good job managing it. He went really small on offense, so we had to adjust a little bit, and we had to play small, and then he took advantage of some of our mismatches. He posted Buckingham and Sherrod he posted Buckingham twice and Sherrod once on some of our smaller guys because we had to have our other big guy who was in the game locked up on somebody else, on a shooter. So, it was a little bit of a back and forth with all that.
Good in the
But
front.
yeah,
Oh,
it
sorry.
was critical when he got in foul trouble.
Coach, how big of an advantage was it having Samir Dowdy with 17 points and Hamdi with 9 points?
Hamdi was great. Hamdi, they were both great. They both do their work in the paint. So when we need to get the ball in the paint, we need to play paintball. Like you get that, you get that ball in there to those guys and let them go to work, and they're phenomenal. And the other big point was we quit turning the ball over. We had 11 turnovers with, I think, 7.5, 8 minutes left. We only had 2 turnovers the last 8 minutes and in overtime. So all we have to do is, with the way we offensive rebound the ball and the way we play, if we just get the thing on the backboard, we're pretty good. And we finally just got the ball in the paint and got the ball on the backboard. Oh, wow. I didn't realize Johnny had 7 assists. That was good. Yeah.
Coach, you mentioned Samir would drive in there. He's an aggressive player. He's also a three-point shooter. Does he just instinctively drive the ball in there, or did you have to tell him to do that? He seems
he's a driver more than a shooter. He'll tell you that. He got mad at me when I was making him shoot all these shots all offseason. He said, I'm not a shooter. You're not going to make me into a shooter. I said, well, you're going to have to shoot because you're not going to be able to drive. This isn't, high school basketball. Like, people will play way off of you. So his instincts are to drive it. I almost sometimes have to yell at him to shoot it when we want him to shoot it. I thought the corner three he hit to tie it was a big one as well. So, he played at a high level for us. It's good we're getting some contributions. Yesterday, Derry really picked it up and helped us. Today, Samir helped us, and you're going to need that as we go down the stretch here.
I know you got a lot of points in the paint, but it seemed to me like Samir and I just helped you. Samir sort of kept you in the game at a certain juncture.
Yeah, he went on the 6-0 run by himself when we got down 6 with the N1 and then the 3. So, yeah, Samir made some huge contributions for us. Really efficient game for him today.
Front left.
Coach, what do you feel like the biggest category is that you have to work on for tomorrow's game?
Oh, we can't they just punked us in Rhode Island now. They just absolutely punked us. They had our offense pushed out to half court. They just obliterated us on the glass. I've forgotten what the final numbers were, but it was ugly. Matt, what were the numbers offhand?
Of what, Rody?
Yeah, it was bad. It was at least 12, 15 on the glass, and we just got annihilated. And then we weren't strong in the paint. We didn't finish well in the paint. We gave ourselves a chance to win. We were the under 4 media, we fouled them when we were down 2, and we tried to run through a pass and we fouled them. They hit the free throws, and it was over from there. But we gave ourselves a chance to win. We just didn't do enough. But we got to do a really good job on the glass. We got to do a really good job finishing inside the paint. They're the one team in the league that is, as they're more physical than we are and is as big and strong as we are down low. I mean, that's the one team in the league that, it's mano-y-mano tomorrow. I know Jaquan said the game's going to be up and down. I doubt that. It's going to be a tractor pull. I mean, it's going to be a low score. It's going to be a grinded out type deal. So they'll probably zone us. So we'll need to be ready for that. They didn't play a ton of zone. They played some at the end of the first half when when we got everything. We were a little discombobulated there at the end of the first half at Rhode Island. But we'll be ready. We'll go back and rest and prepare as best we can. The good news for us in this tournament is all the teams that we've played recently. We played George Mason last game of the regular season. We played Rhode Island third to last game of the regular season. And then obviously we're very familiar with Richmond we play them twice a year and that sort of thing. So it has made it a little bit easier.
Front right.
Coach, just how big is depth coming into this tournament? And also as a follow-up to that question, just do you feel like that Rhode Island is just as deep as your team?
Oh, yeah, they're deep. I mean, they're deep. They're bringing the kid Christian Thompson. I mean, they're deep. The kid Langevin, man, he's a man down there, a freshman. And they played Keeley, something like that. Kelly. They played him a lot more today. They didn't play him when we played the first time, but they played him a lot more today. So they're deep and good. I mean, look, I'll say this. I'm not going to go on a rant. I'm not going to get you into all my numbers, but they're an NCAA tournament team, whether or not they win or lose tomorrow. I'm telling you. And they could beat somebody when they get there. And so they need to be in, win, lose, or draw tomorrow. I mean, they're big. They're physical. When you get to the tournament, this is why Rhode Island can win games in the tournament. When you get to the tournament, the biggest difference between the so-called Power 5 and, the so-called Atlantic 10, which is the big guys. You got to have good bigs. And we've got good bigs, and they've got good bigs. And that's why they can win when they get there. You're physical, and you got good big guys, and you can block shots and affect things around the rim. You're pretty good. And that's why when Rhode Island gets in, they can make a run.
Coach, VCU has a tournament title appearance streak that predates the move to the Atlantic 10. What does it say about VCU as a program where they can go from the CAA, where they're consistently in the title game?
I mean, it's our fourth straight one in the Atlantic 10.
Fifth.
Fourth straight one in the Atlantic 10. Fifth overall.
Fifth in the Atlantic 10.
We've been in the Atlantic 10 5 years? How many is this overall? 5 in a row?
No, it's like at least seven.
7 in a row in the championship game? Wow. Well, pretty good. We're consistent. I do want to say this. I told our players this. I don't know if they're going to say this, but we appreciate all our fans coming. I told our guys this morning. I said, guys, we got blue collar, hard working folks. These people sacrificed a lot to come here and watch us play. There's people that don't take. There's people that don't take summer vacations to come here so they can watch us play in the conference tournament. All right, and so we owe it to them. There's nothing more they'd like than to sweep Richmond. I know that. Going 3-0 against Richmond is good for everybody in town. All right, food tastes a little better, everything's a little bit better. All right, so I told them, I said, we owe it to these guys to give them all-out effort. There's people in there that have sacrificed to come here and help us, and it helped us. It was like a home game in there. You got 3,000 or 4,000 of your own people. I'm sure we'll have even more here tomorrow. But those people sacrificed to come here and watch us play. The least we can do is lay it on the line for them, show them how much we appreciate them and care about winning and getting it back to the championship. But we're happy to be in it. This is our 5th time in the Atlantic 10, as you told me. We've only won it once, so it'd be nice to cut the nets down again. That'd be a good feeling.
Last question.
Coach, it was such an emotional game, especially down the stretch there. What did you say to start the overtime to not let a letdown happen?
I felt good once it gets to overtime. Team who forces overtime wins 72% of the time. So I felt good when it got to overtime. I liked our chances. In overtime because of their foul trouble. And, quite frankly, that three just you could see it. If they didn't hit you knew they were going to have to hit a crazy shot in regulation to beat us. And then if they didn't hit a circus shot in regulation, I felt good. I mean, what Mo said, that's like Mo didn't score the other day, but he had these, like, Mo helps us so much defensively. How many other 5-men can you switch on to a guard who's what was he, second team all-league guard, Jones, something like that? All-league guard, and just bottle him up and make him shoot a fadeaway 18-foot contested jump shot over somebody like that. I mean, he's a freak of nature. That's why he's going to play in the NFL or wherever he wants to play.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Appreciate it.
See you tomorrow.